Hello everyone, welcome back to another Spatial Dip devlog. I mentioned in the last video that I greatly increased the smallest depth that you can scale to, and I made this demonstration to show off exactly how deep you can now go. Everything here is to scale. Here's the size of a pixel. We got a basketball, coin, and our bug friends. And as we go deeper, we got a red blood cell, mitochondria. And as we go deeper, here's a virus and a transistor. So this was the deepest you could go before, but as you will see, we can go a lot deeper. Here's a phospholipid. That's the main molecule that makes up cell membranes. And then that's an individual helium atom based on its outer electron shell size. As we go deeper, you'll see the size of an individual helium nucleus. So that's the actual scale, and then the nucleus in the larger version is not to scale. And that's the size of neutrons and protons as well. As we go deeper, you'll see the range of the weak force. And just a little bit deeper, we have the scale of individual quarks. So that's super cool. I can now say this game allows you to scale down to quark size. And just to show off that everything is continuous and I'm not doing any trickery or anything, I'm going to fire off all these test spheres, and as you'll see, it all scales continuously, and it's all one continuous area. I found out that the biggest bottleneck I was encountering to how far down you could scale was floating point error introduced by Godot's parenting system. I was able to increase the smallest possible scale by creating my own parenting system to use instead. I would normally construct this scene by first making this cube I'm standing on, then make another smaller one and parent it to the first, then make a third and parent it to the second, and so on. This works fine in most use cases, but I found that as a node gets to a certain scale, floating point error in its position cause it to jitter around. This jitter is then inherited by all of its children. My solution was to instead have a flat hierarchy with all of the nodes in player space. As you scale down and a cube reaches a certain scale, it will then update the scale and position of the next smaller one so that it correctly aligns. The important part is that the parent only updates the child position that one time. After that, it's able to freely float decoupled from the parent, avoiding any jitter that might accrue. Another change was making it so that placed warps are parented to the object they're placed on. This allows for the warp to stay accurate to the parent node, even when it's on a movable area or when the node it's on is part of a decoupled hierarchy. After I made that change to how warps work, I encountered this really interesting emergent behavior. So I placed that warp and it attached to the plug, and then when I picked up the plug, suddenly now I'm holding a warp. And watching things scale around you, it's just really satisfying. I'm definitely going to have a mechanic like this in the final game. You too can hold the power of warping space in your hands. All you gotta do is join my Patreon. There you can find the latest build of the game, and also you just really help out the project. If you're enjoying these videos, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.